Let's go back in time. The year is 1929. America was going through a very difficult period called the Great Depression. Many people lost their jobs. Many families had very little money. It was a time of sadness and worry for the whole country. The streets of big cities like New York were quiet. People were not spending money because they did not have it. They were scared about the future. It felt like the world had stopped and nobody knew when things would get better. It was a dark chapter in American history, filled with long lines for food and empty factories. In the middle of all this trouble, a few people had a very big idea. They wanted to build something amazing. They wanted to build the tallest building in the world, right in the heart of New York City. This was more than just a building project. It was a message. It was a way to show everyone that America was still strong. It was a symbol of hope. While many people were looking down at their feet, wondering what to do next, these builders wanted everyone to look up. They wanted to give people something to believe in, a reason to feel proud and hopeful about the future. This idea was a huge risk. Building something so big costs a lot of money, and money was very hard to find. Many people thought it was a crazy idea. Why build a giant office building when so many businesses were closing? But the men behind the project, like John J. Raskop, had a different vision. They believed that if they could do the impossible, it would inspire the nation. They saw it as a powerful statement against the fear and doubt of the Great Depression. This building would stand tall as proof that with hard work and a big dream, anything was possible. So, the plan for the Empire State Building was born. It was not just about making a tall structure of steel and stone. It was about building a monument to the American spirit. It was a challenge to the hard times. The project promised to create thousands of jobs for people who desperately needed them. It gave workers a chance to earn a living and feed their families. For New York City and for the entire country, the Empire State Building was a bright light in a very dark time. It was a promise of a better tomorrow, rising high above the city streets. The dream of the world's tallest building created a very exciting competition. It was called the Race to the Sky. In New York City, 2 other big buildings were also being constructed at the same time. One was the Chrysler Building, and the other was 40 Wall Street. The builders of all 3 projects wanted to earn the title of the tallest building in the world. It was a friendly but serious race. Every day, newspapers would report on which building was higher. People across the city would look up and watch as these giants grew taller and taller, floor by floor. The main person with the vision for the Empire State Building was John J. Raskop. He was a famous businessman from General Motors. He wanted to create something truly spectacular. He hired a company of architects named Shreve, Lamb and Harmon. They were given a very simple but difficult instruction. Make it as high as you can without it falling over. The architects, led by William F. Lamb, had to design the building very quickly. They actually based their design on an earlier building they had made, which helped them save a lot of time and get started right away. The builders chosen for this huge job were Starrett, Brothers, and Eakin. They were known for being very organized and very fast. They were the perfect team for a project that needed to be done on a tight schedule. They promised they could build this massive skyscraper in just over a year. This was an incredible promise. No one had ever built something so tall so quickly. The company had to manage thousands of workers and tons of materials. Their ability to plan every single detail was the key to making the project a success and winning the race to the sky. The location for this new giant was the old Waldorf Astoria Hotel on Fifth Avenue. It was a famous and beloved hotel, but it was time for something new and even grander. Tearing down the old hotel was the first big step. Once the site was clear, the real work began. The race was on, the clock was ticking. The whole world was watching to see if Roskov's dream and the builder's promise could actually come true. New York City was the perfect stage for this drama of ambition, steel, and human effort. The construction of the Empire State Building was like a perfectly planned dance. The builders, Starrett Brothers and Eakin, were masters of organization. They created a very detailed schedule for every part of the job. They knew exactly when each steel beam, each bag of cement, and each window needed to arrive at the site. This was very important because there was not a lot of space to store materials in busy Manhattan. Trucks would deliver the steel beams, and within hours, those same beams were lifted by cranes and put into place high up on the building's frame. This process was called just-in-time delivery. A steel beam would be made in a factory in Pennsylvania and put on a train. It would arrive in New Jersey, be loaded onto a truck, and driven through a tunnel to the construction site in Manhattan. Each beam was already marked with the exact floor and position where it needed to go. This amazing coordination meant that there were no delays. The work never had to stop because workers were waiting for materials. It was a continuous flow of supplies moving from the factory right into the structure of the growing skyscraper. The building grew at an incredible speed. On average, the workers built about 4.5 new floors every single week. This was an amazing pace that had never been seen before. To make this happen, the work was divided among different teams. While one team was setting the steel frame for the upper floors, other teams below were busy installing the stone walls, putting in the windows, and running the electrical wires and plumbing. It was like several different construction projects happening all at once on the same building, all moving upward together in perfect harmony. The numbers behind this project are truly mind-boggling. The building used 60,000 tons of steel to create its strong skeleton. It has 10 million bricks and over 700 miles of electrical wire. The total cost was almost $41 million, which was actually less than the original budget, a rare thing for such a big project. All of this was put together in a record-breaking 410 days, from the start of construction to the grand opening. This incredible achievement was possible only because of brilliant planning, relentless hard work, and a system that made sure every piece was in the right place at the right time. The real heroes of this story were the thousands of men who built the Empire State Building. Over 3,400 workers were on the job every day during the peak of construction. These men came from all over. Many were new immigrants from Europe, especially Ireland and Italy. Others were iron workers from Mohawk communities in Canada, famous for their amazing skill and comfort with heights. For these men, this job was a lifeline during the Great Depression. It was a chance to earn a good wage and provide for their families when there were no other jobs available. The most dangerous and famous jobs belonged to the ironworkers and riveters. These brave men worked hundreds of feet in the air with no safety nets and no harnesses. They walked along narrow steel beams as if they were sidewalks. The rivet gangs worked in teams of 4. One man, the heater, would heat rivets, small metal pins, until they were glowing red hot. He would then toss the hot rivets to another man, the catcher, who would catch it in a metal can. The catcher would then place the rivet into a hole, and 2 other men, the bucker-up and the gunman, would use a huge pneumatic hammer to flatten it into place, securing the steel beams together. This work was incredibly dangerous. The men faced strong winds, cold weather, and the constant risk of falling. A single misstep or a moment of lost focus could be fatal. Sadly, official records say that 5 workers died during the construction of the building. While this number is low for such a massive project in that era, it is a sad reminder of the risks these men took every single day. They were called skywalkers because they seem so fearless, working so high above the city. Their courage and skill are a huge part of the building's legend. Despite the dangers, the workers had a strong sense of teamwork and pride. They knew they were part of something historic. They worked together to solve problems and keep the construction moving at its incredible pace. The different teams, the ironworkers, the bricklayers, the electricians, the plumbers, all had to coordinate their work perfectly. This spirit of cooperation was essential. The men who built the Empire State Building were not just building a skyscraper, they were building a future for themselves and a symbol of strength for the entire nation. On May 1st, 1931, the Empire State Building officially opened. It was a huge celebration. President Herbert Hoover pressed a button in Washington, D.C., which symbolically turned on the building's lights for the first time. At 102 stories and 1,250 feet tall, it was officially the tallest building in the world. It had taken this title from the Chrysler Building, winning the race to the sky. For a nation still in the grip of the Great Depression, this moment was incredibly powerful. The building stood as a magnificent monument to what Americans could achieve, even in the most difficult of times. The building quickly became a beloved part of the New York City skyline. It was more than just an office building. It was a destination. People came from all over the world just to see it and ride the elevators to its observation decks. From the top, they could see the entire city spread out below them. It offered a new perspective and a feeling of wonder. The Empire State Building also became a star in its own right. Just 2 years after it opened, it was featured in the famous 1933 movie King Kong, where the giant ape climbs to its top. This movie made the building famous around the globe. However, because it opened during the Great Depression, the building faced challenges. Many businesses could not afford to rent office space. For a while, people joked and called it the empty state building because so many of its floors were vacant. But this did not change its importance as a symbol. The building's lights became a famous feature, changing colors to celebrate holidays, special events, and sports team victories. It became a beacon of light for the city, a way to share in moments of joy and remembrance. It was a part of the city's heart. The Empire State Building's design was also very influential. It was a masterpiece of the Art Deco style, known for its clean lines, geometric shapes, and elegant look. Its tall, stepped-back shape became a model for many other skyscrapers built around the world. It showed how to build tall and beautiful buildings efficiently. It proved that with great ambition and even greater organization, incredible things were possible. The building was a physical representation of progress, innovation, and the enduring power of the human spirit to build and to dream. Today, on August 1st, 2025, the Empire State Building is no longer the tallest building in the world, or even in New York City. Many other, even taller skyscrapers have been built since 1931. However, its importance has not faded. It remains one of the most famous and beloved landmarks on the planet. Millions of visitors still travel to New York every year with one main goal: to visit the observation decks of the Empire State Building. It continues to offer one of the most breathtaking views of the city, a timeless experience that connects generations of visitors. The building has also kept up with the times. It has gone through many upgrades to make it more modern and environmentally friendly. In 2009, a major renovation project was completed to make the building more energy efficient. All 6,514 of its windows were refurbished to help keep heat in during the winter and out during the summer. This project significantly reduced the building's energy use and its impact on the environment. This shows that even a historic landmark can be a leader in modern technology and sustainability, proving that old buildings can learn new tricks. The Empire State Building remains a central part of American culture. It appears in countless movies, television shows, songs, and books. It is instantly recognizable to people everywhere. When we see its silhouette, we immediately think of New York City and all the dreams and ambitions that the city represents. The changing colors of its lights continue to mark important moments in our lives, from celebrating national holidays to honoring heroes. It is a dynamic part of the city's conversation, a canvas that reflects the mood and spirit of the people. In the end, the story of the Empire State Building is about much more than just a fast construction project. It is a story about hope in a time of despair, about the power of a big idea, and about the incredible things people can do when they work together. It is a monument to the brave skywalkers who risked their lives to build it, and to the visionaries who dared to dream it. The Empire State Building is not just made of steel and stone, it is made of courage, hard work, and the unbreakable spirit of a nation. And that is why today and for many years to come, it will continue to stand tall as a legend.